Welcome everybody to episode 53 of Daycast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles, and I am joined as always by Tim Johnson. How you doing, Tim?
I am well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you very much, buddy. But you're sick, though.
I'm kind of sick. I'm getting over being sick. Like, I'm past the worst of it. I'm in a good spot right now because I can see the end is near.
In a good way. The end of the sickness is near. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, what have you been doing during your sickness, Tim?
Just watching stuff and editing photos and trying to recuperate from what was HalCon 2018.
Still, yeah. Con crud, they call it, right?
Yeah, that's where I got sick.
Yeah. I hear that, buddy. I hear that. That's all good. Gonna go around the table a little bit then. We got Josh Lambert. How you doing, Josh?
Pretty good, fella.
Excellent.
How are you?
Not bad. Pretty good, fella.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
Excellent. What's new with you, Josh?
Same situation. Came from HalCon. You get the sick.
You get the sick.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately how we all feel, I guess, but...
It was good. You know, spending 6 hours in a Wookiee suit with snot all over your face and sweat. It's fun.
Yeah. Not simulated snot and sweat, guys. That was
No.
real
Pure
snot
Josh.
and sweat.
Pure Josh.
That shit was real.
Yeah.
Good, man. Glad to have you with us this week. And keeping around the table, we have David Miles. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good. Yep.
Yeah, what's new with you? What have you been biding your time with?
Just watching some TV, watching a few movies here and there, and getting ready for my next play. So finally finished casting everybody, and next weekend we're going to do our first read-through and rehearsals. So it's kind of the big thing, I guess, on my radar right now. So, yeah, keep me busy.
Good stuff, buddy. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, episode 53, everybody. This episode of They Cast from the Coast is our typical round table episode. Now that we've introduced everybody as to who is joining us this week, we're going to start off with some general topics of conversation. So, I'll be the first one to start. Let's just go with this. Fede Alvarez has declared, when asked if the Evil Dead remake was set as a remake, truly, what is the case?
And boom, what did he say?
We nailed it, guys. He said specifically, and I quote,
I think we should review that episode. I don't
We-
think it was
No, go ahead.
Evil Dead 2013 is set in the same continuity as the original Sam Raimi films. It continues the first one. The coincidence on events between the first film and mine are not coincidences. They are more like dark fate created by the evil book.
Yep.
Wow. That's awesome.
And just how he brought up, like, Ash's car is right there, rusting away. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it. So that's glory. That is wonderful. I love everything about that. But this came up from conversation because he's got Don't Breathe 2 all written and prepared for shooting. Script is all ready to go. He's ready to get on with it. And everybody's like, oh yeah, Don't Breathe 2, that's great. But everybody wants to know about Evil Dead 2013. Like, are you doing a sequel? And he basically said he'd love to. He just wants to get a couple of projects out of the way, and then he'll decide from there as to where to go with it. But I think that's what we need after the the cancellation of Ash versus Evil Dead. We still need something in that universe, and I, for one, love his vision. And
Oh my god, get a buddy movie with him and her. Oh my god. And like they end it, so then this would be like the last Evil Dead because it would be amazing.
But you know what? They don't even need to bring Ash in. I think Evil Dead 2013, as much as I love Ash, Evil Dead 2013 was as much a standalone movie in the Evil Dead universe. And do they really need to fall back on Ash and bring him in? I don't think so. I think if they push through, and as much as I love Don't Breathe, I would sooner see an Evil Dead 2, a Fede Alvarez Evil Dead 2 versus a Don't Breathe 2. But I think they could just push through on their own in that universe and just carve out their own section of that universe with that movie. Yes, they can certainly overlap with some of the other Evil Dead movies, which they've already done, obviously. But I don't think they need to bring Ash back. I mean, if Bruce Campbell wants to stay retired and help out behind the scenes to bring another vision to life, I'm all for that. But I don't think it's required. I don't think it's necessary.
No, it's not necessary, but it would be fucking awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
I agree on both sides. It would be awesome to have him, but I can deal without him if I have to.
Absolutely.
The problem is that he's so wishy-washy about where things are going. He, as soon as Ash vs. Evil Dead was canceled, he literally just openly said, that's it, I'm fucking done. Like, I will not do this anymore. And then all of a sudden
his feelings were hurt.
His feelings were hurt, I know. But I mean, it's such an emotional roller coaster for the fans, and I'm assuming for him. We're good. No, we're not. Yay, here we go. No, we're not. And
he likes to do that. He likes to fuck with the fans. He interviews with fucking Fangoria and everyone like every 3 years, bloody disgusting, saying, "Oh, me and Sam Raimi are working on a film right now. You know, the script's half done. It's in my garage." He just likes to fuck with you. That's what he does.
That's what he does. Yeah, he creates the emotional roller coaster. That's what happens. So
he is the emotional roller coaster.
Bruce Campbell, the emotional roller coaster. Love it.
Yeah, that should be the name of his next book.
The emotional roller coaster of Bruce Campbell. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Next topic. The Lighthouse. This is a movie that has completed filming. Well, completed over the spring in Nova Scotia. So it's a local, and Nova Scotia film was involved. Robert Eggers' follow-up to The Witch takes place in the 1800s in Nova Scotia, filmed in black and white using actual Kodak stock film, black and white film. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because it's come out that it was supposed to be a semi-thriller horror movie to begin with, but the assumption about it was that it was going to be more of like The Witch, supernatural type of horror movie, because that's kind of where it came from. But come to find out, some tidbits of information that have gotten released, this is like a monster movie with a very H.P. Lovecraftian vibe to it. There's like Cthulhu type of frickin' creature monsters and shit like this. So
what's it called? The Lighthouse?
The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
It stars Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Right.
And it's been making news a lot lately because it's hitting the film festivals now. And Robert Pattinson's gone on record to say that Robert Eggers basically drove him fucking insane making this movie. And there's like parts of an article that were talking about the fact that there would just be like a scene where it was just Robert Pattinson walking down the beach, and Eggers would make him do it like 10 times because he didn't like the way he was walking.
Well, apparently that was the same scene that they were talking about in the article where they had like a fire hose on the guy, and they were just hosing him down for like hours at a time because it's supposed to be like the waves or something coming in from the ocean. Yeah. And apparently he got pissed. Like he stormed off set. He was so pissed at the director because they were just like hosing him down for hours of cold water.
That's what you get for being a sparkly vampire, you bitch.
You stole that from me.
Wow.
I did! That's exactly what David said earlier. I stole it from him, but I give him credit.
Yeah. That's what you get.
That's what you get. But yes.
Sparkly bitch. That's funny.
But I mean, I'm intrigued by the movie. I can't wait to see it. And I mean, I did like Robert Eggers' The Witch, which I think we were talking about, Tim, before. It would be a good episode to do. We might eventually do one on The Witch.
Well, just because, like, it's, you either like it or you don't. You either get it or you don't. And I loved it. Mm-hmm. I've been collecting, like, pop vinyls recently. Yeah. like specifically and exclusively the horror ones.
Yeah.
And I have a black Philip Pop on its way, and I'm so excited.
He wants to live deliciously.
Yeah.
That's good. I like it. Yeah, so The Lighthouse, it's going to be good. It's hitting the film festivals now. Nova Scotia Pride, guys. Nova Scotia Film, and that's great. So, let's talk for a second about some other things that have come up. Josh, you had something that you wanted to talk about.
Child's Play 30 years. 30-year anniversary for Child's Play. Scaring the shit out of little kids for 30 years.
For 30 years.
Making you terrified of your toys.
Yeah, so what it really comes down to is, I mean, we talked about last episode, some of the leaked stuff that, in one of the last episodes, leaked stuff about the new Child's Play remake. I'm not against it by any means, just like we were talking about. I'm definitely eager to see what they come up with. But 30 years of the original. Something I found that was very interesting with all the 30-year stuff, they released pictures. First time picture, I don't know if you guys seen this or not. First time this has actually ever been shown. A picture of a toddler dressed up as Chucky on set.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
That was just amazing. How old did it say he was? He was like 4 years old?
He was the 4, yeah.
4
He was
years
one of
old.
the crew members' kids or something.
Yeah. They had him dressed up as Chucky, playing some of the scenes where from behind Chucky's running around like the corner or doing his thing, right? It was a toddler on set.
Yeah.
They used
cool.
a whole bunch of, like, I watched a little mini doc there the other day, and it was showing like some of the animatronics that they used, and they used like little people, and they had like oversized sets. So they made like a sofa that was like 1.5 times bigger, so it made it look like he was a doll.
There was a lot of stuff that was also released with like all the different like hero heads that they had for Chucky, and like there's one picture, I've never seen it before, but it was like, I don't know, like Chucky's like mid movement, and it's the part where I think he's about to bite the mom's arm, but I can't remember. But it was just how it was shot and all. It was an amazing picture. But like, yeah, they released all kinds of stuff recently because of it being the anniversary.
Yeah, and in honor of that, they actually showed clips from an episode of Pawn Stars, that show.
Yeah,
you seen that where this guy actually had with a COA signed by Kevin Yeager.
Yeah,
a good guy doll in the box, but they were like vacuum formed.
Vacuum formed, yeah.
So it was like
it wasn't like a full-fledged doll. It was just a background prop, right?
Exactly. So they had like the doll. They vacuum formed the doll, and then they painted the vacuum form and stuffed it in the box. And it was one of the ones that had the COA saying that it was used in both Child Play 1 and 2 as a background prop. 1 in the toy store for the explosion scene, and 2 in the factory at the end, in the main boxes. And the guy wanted like $8,000 for it, and they were like, they got an expert on movie memorabilia in, and the guy's like, on a good day you get like $3,000 for this thing, maybe
$3,000 at an auction, and you're gonna pay 50% auction fees. Yeah,
exactly. So they were like, "I'll give you $500," and the guy walked away. He's like, "I'll keep it."
Yeah.
So it was funny. Tim.
Yes.
You had a topic you wanted to talk about.
I did. It's one that it's a little old now. It was like, around the end of October that it was kind of announced, but apparently LeBron James wants to produce a new Friday the 13th with Sean Cunningham.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a horror fan. What do you want?
Yeah, but it's so fucking random. I mean, I'm not a fan of LeBron James at all, like his basketball career or whatever. I don't fucking care. Right?
He's got money, and he's got a production company.
Yeah, he's got money. He's got a production company. Apparently, he's a big horror fan. So, cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, he showed up This happened just before Halloween, if I remember.
It was the 22nd. Is what the article.
And he showed up to like a Halloween party or something like this, dressed as Jason Voorhees.
No, it was Pennywise.
Oh,
he was dressed as Pennywise.
He dressed up as Jason Voorhees this year too for something else. Because there were pictures and videos of him dressed up, and he had like the machete and shit like this.
Maybe it was. Maybe the picture I was looking at was an older picture, but he did dress as Pennywise as well.
Nice.
But yeah, it's it's. I mean, it's a glimmer of hope given all the legal battle going on between Miller and Cunningham over the rights, and
Yep.
But that just begs the question: where's this going to fall in? Is this going to fall on the Victor Miller side or the Sean Cunningham side? Like, who does he want to work with?
I think I personally think if this shouldn't make another Friday the 13th. It's like the planets are aligning, and like fate is kind of saying no more fucking Friday the 13th movies. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
well, for what reason though? I mean, why? Just
No,
because the rights
just
are a
'cause-
mess, or because the last couple have been subpar, or what?
I don't know. The hands of fate do not want another movie because it just seems it's like shit keeps happening with this franchise, and if they made another movie, is it going to be any good? Remember how excited we were for the 2009 reboot, and how disappointing that was when you left the theater.
But you know what? I mean, look at the Halloween franchise over the years. I mean, it went down, and then all the planets aligned, and we had Halloween 2018. So,
yeah, but that can't. And you're absolutely right. But can you expect the same to come from this franchise? I mean,
so with who's behind it right now, or potentially behind it, no. I think if you get the right team behind it, then we certainly can see a reboot, a reimagining, or even, I mean, the big talk now is, what are we going to see next? A new Friday the 13th, a new... Robert Englund says, I want to do another Nightmare. Heather Langenkamp says, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing another one as well. So I think it's inevitable we're going to see something. It's just what worries me is the people that we get behind the scenes pushing this forward. And is it going to be for a quick buck, or is it because we have, like, a Danny McBride and a... what's the director? David Gordon Green. Are we going to get, two longtime fans that write a treatment good enough to get the original, creator behind them? I don't know. Like, it's just, it could go either way. I'm hoping for the best, but expecting the worst.
Just pump them out. Just pump out the films. Just keep giving them to me. I don't care. I don't care if they're dog shit. 1 in every 10 will be good.
1 in every 10 will be good. Yeah, I like the way you think. I mean, it's more content at that point, but it will put a shit taste in people's mouths, and
it just waters it down. And I mean, that's what we've seen with Halloween.
Tell that
over
to the multi-billion-dollar Star Wars corporation. They just pump it out.
But they're not pumping it out. You want to talk about Star Wars? They're not doing it anymore.
Oh, exactly.
Yes,
they backed off on that, didn't they?
Yes, they are. They'll be pumping out. It doesn't matter if it's a Netflix show or an animated program or a movie.
You're right.
It's content. Just pump it out.
Yeah.
Man, it's all part and partial to it. Okay, so LeBron James, Friday 13th. I'm intrigued to see where that goes. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one kind of final thing. I mean, if he's a legit fan and he's got a shit ton of money, cool. Yep. This might be that kind of fucking spark that starts this up again. But can I be hopeful that it's going to be as good as, Halloween 2018? Hope, maybe.
And then we go to the theater and it rocks our fucking socks off, so... You
Maybe.
never know. It might happen. That's what it is. Okay.
I just picture a scene with like a whole bunch of teenagers doing drugs, watching like the basketball game.
Yeah.
LeBron's playing like.
Yeah.
Man,
like LeBron.
he's really good. He's my favorite basketball star.
Hey, talk about what you know, huh?
Yeah.
At first, I thought he wanted to play Jason.
I had kind of got that impression at first too, because I mean he's a big guy.
He's a big guy, right?
So what are you gonna do?
I was confused about the whole thing because the minute I seen LeBron James wants to make a new Friday the 13th movie, I just picture him starring in it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. And then, I mean, I don't know.
Well, he'll probably have a cameo in it of some kind. He'll record something for a TV set that's playing in the background or something like that, LeBron James says, "Take your vitamins, kids," and then the blood splatter on screen from Jason killing somebody. So,
Yeah.
something simple. All right, guys, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some news and some trailers and stuff that have been released over the past week or so. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, continue this discussion.
Hey there, it's Deborah Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Part 5, and you are listening to They Cast from the Coast.
Welcome back, everybody. Continuing on with our conversation from the day, we can talk just a little bit about some of the things that we've watched lately. Stuff that we don't necessarily have, an opportunity to put a full episode out on. But some interesting stuff that we have watched. Josh, you were telling us about something that you just about binge watched.
Yeah, I just watched the entire series of Black Mirror. I didn't even know it existed. It's like this generation's Twilight Zone. I don't know how that fell through the cracks, but...
Interesting story how it kind of came to be, too, because it was like a British series, low-budget British series, and then they were going to not make any more. And then it's like Netflix jumped in.
Netflix
said,
picked it up and greenlit it, yeah.
So here's the money, season 3. So, yeah.
I like the British ones a little better than the American, but I like the American ones. I mean, they're all written by Charlie Brooker or whatever, right? So, like, they're good, but I don't know. It's just something about the British ones. Like that first one with the Prime Minister.
That was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was like, he's not really going to do it. Oh, my God, he's really doing it.
He's doing it.
That's innuendo there.
That's how I was introduced to the show. Someone told me, I just saw this first episode. You got to watch it. Don't Google it. Don't look it up because it will spoil it. Just go and watch it.
That's a trap right there. Don't Google it. Just watch it, right? And all of a sudden, he's not.
You put it on, and it's like, what did they just say?
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
It had some really good ones. The virtual house was a good one.
A lot of the tech ones are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them are like.
Well, I mean, it's the thing that I really like about it is, especially with the tech ones,
You can see it happening.
Yeah, like that one with Bryce Dallas Howard, where everybody's life status is like, they got to like so many, videos and pictures, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like,
this is
a real evil version of Instagram. Yeah, it was bad.
And it isn't your quality of life and what jobs you get and where you live and everything else isn't dependent
on your like score.
It's all dependent on how many people actually
I'd be homeless.
Yeah.
Be homeless.
You find out like the truck driver at the end. She was like a very popular person. She lost it all, and she's like, "Fuck life, I'm just doing my thing." It was kind of funny. Yeah, that was good shit. Dave,
What's up?
you watched something interesting lately. You were talking about.
What was that? Oh, Bloodfest.
So tell us why you watched this one first off.
Well, like a lot of people, I jumped onto Bloodfest thinking that it was the new one that was like plastered everywhere called, I found out afterwards, Hellfest. So Hellfest was the big budget theatrical release with Tony Todd, produced by Gail Ann Hurd of The Walking Dead, and it was a bunch of friends that go to like a traveling Halloween-themed carnival in October and get trapped, and it turns out being like a slasher movie, and mayhem ensues. Anyway, I was like super excited to watch this movie, and I saw this Bloodfest, and I thought that Bloodfest was Hellfest, and of course, I sit down and I start watching this.
It wasn't, was it?
No, I got about 10 minutes into it, and I'm like, something ain't right here. Anyway, I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but it was an entertaining 90 minutes. Maybe it wasn't even a full 90 minutes. It seemed like it was pretty short. But it wasn't a bad movie, but I was a little disappointed because I was all excited to see this Hellfest that I'd seen all these trailers for. But it turned out it wasn't a bad movie. But yeah, it was pretty funny at the time because I'm like, the hell is this? It's not what I expected.
I can attest to falling into the same category. I did the same thing. I didn't want to see that one Hellfest, and all of a sudden, this movie Bloodfest shows up on my Netflix.
Oh,
feed.
you dumbass Miles brothers.
I know.
Stunned
And,
arses.
and I started watching it, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the wrong movie. But I just didn't have the energy to try to find something else to watch.
So I just
kept
watched
it on.
He just sat on the couch.
I was like, I think I was sculpting at the time. I was like sculpting, and I'm just like, whatever. I'll just keep it on for background noise. And I remember looking and seeing some really shoddy CGI though, having to do with like this tower place.
There's some pretty cheap CGI in it. But,
yeah, and at the very end, like the whole end scene where this guy goes flying out the window. Never mind, whatever. It's like
it kind of reminds me of like whenever you see any of those big budget movies, and then you see like the Asylum versions with a slightly different name.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but believe it or not, it was actually a step up from an Asylum movie. Like I said, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. It's a good waste of 90 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
That's about it.
Yep.
Tim, you've been watching something interesting.
Okay, well, I just binge watched season 1 through 7 of American Horror Story because my kid wanted to watch it, and I was like, But watching them in a binge, love that show. I fucking love that show. I love it. But because season 8's on right now, and it's not done yet, I was like, well, I don't want to go to the week-to-week thing because I find that ruins shows. So I was like, we need to find something else to watch while we wait for season 8. And I found something. I know a lot of people, and we've tried to discuss it, but I didn't watch it yet in one of our previous episodes. But I am on episode 9 of The Haunting of Hill House. This show is fucking amazing. It's amazing. Amazing. It's one of those rare incident. I can't speak. I'm so excited. It's one of those rare times where I'm watching a show and I feel like I'm reading a book. The way that it's jumping around and the pacing and the structure of the show, the acting is fucking phenomenal. I just love it. There's one part, I hate jump scares because I find they're a cheap fucking gimmicky ploy, but there's one jump scare in one of the later episodes, I literally went, and like Anthony's sitting there eating and he went, it was the part where
in the car.
Yeah, Theo and her sister, and just all of a sudden they're fighting him.
That became like, as soon as people started reaching that episode, it became like internet famous. Like everybody's like, holy shit. And then there was like this whole thing around people making their friends watch that one scene just to catch their reactions and shit. It was,
No, it was good, and it wasn't a cheap jump scare. It was literally just, it was like someone hiding around the corner and jumping out at you, right? Like it was good. But with that being said, like tonight I'll finish the last 2 episodes. I fucking love this show. I love this show. Getting into it was a little hard because you had to get used to the constant jumping around. But now I'm so used to it. It's like, okay, this is 1987. This is now. This is, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's really good. It's really
fantastic show. One of the creepiest scenes. I mean, the TV series is just chock full of atmosphere. I mean, just the set pieces, the cinematography. Yeah. But the one that really not freaked me out, but I thought was so well done and so well executed was when young Luke was in the I
don't know
what
they
call the dumbwaiter, and he goes into the basement and he sees that zombie creep out behind him.
And
it's coming towards him. Oh my god, so amazing! Yeah, the way that was done.
Really good. Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, from a technical aspect, there was that one episode where they did an entire single shot film throughout the entire house. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was one episode they did 3 15-minute takes or something, or 4 15-minute takes.
Yeah, something like that.
Is that the one where they were like in the funeral home? They did like a ton of just single shot and like replacing the actors when they were doing the single shot and everything. Oh, crazy.
Timothy Hutton goes from the funeral home into the house, and it follows him around, and then it's even upstairs, and then comes down with the elevator. Yeah.
So they actually had like released like a behind the scenes showing how they made that. It was one freaking hell of a technical feat because, like they said, that episode alone took the most out of anything they ever did with that show to plan and to prepare and film. because they had to have it like clockwork. When the camera moves here, this person moves around here, this person moves here. Certain things get changed in the set. There's something that appears over here, blah, 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 blah. They said that one scene took rehearsal time alone, probably took about a month.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's one point where he walks in and he sees his kids as kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it pans around and then the adults are standing there. And that's another point I wanted to bring up was the child castings of the adult actors.
Oh, yeah.
Is like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
they look the same. And another fucking trope that I noticed that this show broke was the parents aren't bad parents. Like,
Yeah.
you know, normally like they're either like horrible parents or they're just fucking idiot parents. Like, they're pretty normal. You know what I mean? And that was one thing that I noticed. But yeah, it's this show has blown my mind. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I gotta get back into watching it. I gotta finish it up. But definitely, it's a great show.
Did you feel like you just dismissed that really easily?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
it's
guys, great
It's
show.
a great show. It's a great show.
No.
So I'm just gonna
Yes.
say if anybody else has anything else to say about it.
Maybe I could talk for hours.
Why
about
don't
it.
you talk some more, Tim?
I really liked it. Theo is my favorite. She's really hot.
It was amazing, and I didn't realize until afterwards because I'm like, she looks familiar. She looks like an Angelina Jolie, like a double of Angelina Jolie, but apparently she was in, and I didn't pick up on it till afterwards, she was the star of Hush, Mike Flanagan's other movie.
That's Mike Flanagan's wife.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until afterwards. I'm like, how cool is that?
Real nice. Yeah. Every time she comes on, Anthony hates it. I go, babe! Right? Because I was doing it for Carla Guanito or whatever, because I think she's hot too.
Mm-hmm.
But once I was introduced to adult Theo, woo! Woo!
Yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we can move on. I
Okay,
had to
well
get
now
that
we
in.
can move on then.
Resting my love for Kate Siegel, like, woo!
Nice. All right. Josh, something you and I
Yeah.
have been talking about that we've been binging.
Yeah.
The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
Okay.
which takes
Okay,
place.
before we start, how many episodes is it? Because I haven't watched it yet, but that might be after Hill House.
It's only like 10 or 11
It's like
episodes.
10.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll watch.
I
I'll
haven't
watch
watched it either.
that. So don't fucking spoil.
No, we won't spoil it. But this has come up in the news recently again, not only for its popularity.
Never watched the new stuff, so don't spoil it.
Okay.
Okay,
But it's come
go
up in
ahead.
the news again, not only for the popularity, but also due to the fact that there's quite a few scenes in the show that have a statue of Baphomet that is basically it was ripped from
An exact
it's an
replica.
exact replica of an artist's rendition that's actually making its rounds across the United States right now. So the artist, backed by the Church of Satan, are like suing Netflix for like $50 million.
They're not.
Was that?
They're not going to win because the difference between is okay. The statue in the show, does it have the two kids?
I don't recall. I
No.
don't think
Because
it
the
does.
real
I'm looking at the
statue-
picture now, and it doesn't look like it. It's just Baphomet.
Yeah, that image of Baphomet is like timeless.
Yeah.
That's like someone building a statue of Jesus and like, no, I'm going to sue you. If it was the exact same, because the real Church of Satan's Baphomet has a little boy and a little girl holding, you know what I mean? Like they're right next to him, like, you know, everybody embrace Satan, whatever, right? But yeah, I think it's they're not going to win.
No. It's just amusing. The show is like filled with like super dark and satanistic and like actual spells that they've pulled from like old Latin literature and stuff. But
Wow.
it's a complete and total turning like the 90s sitcom Sabrina right on its head. It's
Yeah.
not at all what I expected when they said they were doing a Sabrina reboot,
Well, no, exactly.
which is good. Much better.
Oh, and it's fantastic, and it is a horror fanatic's dream. The amount
Absolutely.
of shit that they have in the show that just it's absolutely every episode is riddled with nods to classic
Riddled.
Riddled.
That's a good
Riddled.
word. It was good, Adam. It was
Riddle
good.
me this.
Well, as you guys know, I'm obsessed with finding connections between horror movies. And
I know.
creating,
You want to
like,
know
a
what's
horrorverse.
and I want to bring this up while we're all here, okay? While we're all here, Josh put in a lot of hard work, and for you guys to dismiss him with his fucking tinfoil hats,
That was Adam.
Right? It was mean. He put more work into this than you have in anything, Adam. You owe him an apology.
That was
He made
all
me-
Adam.
He made me a believer.
I helped him out. I'm like, hey, where's the connection between Blade Runner and Alien? I'm like right in there with him, looking at it, going, this is cool.
Fine, Josh.
But this show
I'm
connects
sorry.
so much. It makes so much.
Dick.
It's got a little Audrey from Little Shop. It's got tons of Hellraiser. The house that they live in is the Hellraiser house. It has the same stained glass windows, the same wallpaper. They have puzzle boxes that have demons in it.
No more. We need a whole episode
No, you want to know
dedicated
what?
to the horrorverse.
Not even that. I think it would be amazing if we did a segment every episode of connections. I think it'd be amazing. Or it's yeah.
Well, a new segment called the horrorverse.
Everyone
Absolutely.
puts on their tinfoil hats.
into the horrorverse with Josh Lambert.
Into the horrorverse with Josh Lambert. Fine. Look for the next roundtable episode where we introduce you to the horrorverse from Josh Lambert.
Oh yeah, look and see how he's on the bandwagon. Now, what a dick.
No, I was on the bandwagon a long time
Gosh,
ago. I
that's
just
a
like
really
making
good
fun of people.
idea.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that
I'm
dick.
posting the fucking conversation online so people can see how big of a dick you were to poor Josh.
Oh, Josh, I'm so sorry.
I got your back, Josh. I got your back.
Whatever. Jerks.
Oh, time for another break, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah.
Shut up, Dave. We're going to need another Dave.
No, but this reboot of Sabrina is really good, honestly. And it takes place in the same universe as the Archie series there, Riverdale. Yeah.
Which is actually a good
Yeah,
show
well,
on its own.
that's where Sabrina came from.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Archie
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Yep.
but they weren't expecting it to take place in the same created universe because the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the comic book that this is actually based on, is kind of like a somewhat of an alternate timeline comic compared to the original Sabrina and Archie. And they kind of did the same thing with Riverdale. It's not the classic happy-go-lucky Archie. It's dark, it's
Very dark.
dramatic, and it's dreary. It has a lot to do with there's a serial killer on the loose at one point, all kinds of weird shit. So,
But isn't the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? Haven't they said that it directly takes place in the Riverdale universe, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, no, they have.
CW Riverdale
yeah,
universe?
that's what Josh was saying. It's
Okay,
This takes the same idea and brings it into the same universe. There's a couple of things that have happened where they basically there's been characters that have appeared in both series already. One of them was a pizza delivery boy. Apparently, he was in one of the episodes of Riverdale.
That, and there's like posters in Sabrina about the Riverdale like football team, like posters hung up and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying the show. Haven't finished it yet, but I'll be finished.
So is Riverdale any good? Because I haven't watched it.
I've never watched Riverdale either.
I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the last season, but I've enjoyed it so far.
But it's got a serial killer in the first season, you were saying?
Second season, there's a serial killer. On
Second.
this. But the first season itself of Riverdale takes place with the murder of a character from the comics.
Oh.
It's actually one of the twins, the redheaded twins. The brother is murdered, and the first season is literally trying to find the murderer and who did it. And there's
So it's dark. Like it's a dark TV series.
very dark, very dark. A lot of
I'd have to check it
a lot
out.
of sex and violence and darkness to it. It's really crazy.
Sex and violence.
Sex and violence.
Yeah.
All right, time to take a break, guys.
Dave,
Let's take a break.
Get some more coffee.
That's right. Okay, Dave, if you're that excited, why don't you talk to us about what you received in the mail? Keep the excitement going.
Oh.
An undisclosed box.
Undisclosed
Says-
box.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Yay!
So,
So give a round of applause to Fangoria.
it's back, baby. It's back. The rebirth. So,
Good job making good on your promise, first of all.
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, I was
They ain't fucking around. That's a pretty...
That's a catalog.
Yeah.
That's what
It
we were
is,
saying.
yeah.
Like, look at the size of the damn thing.
114 pages.
Nice.
And it's like it's not flimsy paper, like it's a thick, stock, like it's a thick cardstock type paper. I was very happy to receive this in the mail. Like we discussed in the previous episode, I mean, Fangoria certainly had their troubles. I guess went bankrupt or whatever. And I was one of the guys that, got stiffed out of their subscription to Gorezone and Fangoria. So, all along we've been talking about, we really hope they keep their promise, because they were saying, hey, for anyone who got stiffed out of their subscriptions, we're going to give you the first year subscription, for the Rebirth for free. So the new subscriptions are only doing 4 a year, so it's only a quarterly magazine, which you
Look
can
at the
you can
size
see
of it, yeah.
the size of it, yeah. They jacked up the price, and you're getting 4 a year. But part of me didn't really expect to see it in the mail, but the other part of me said, you know what? They're blasting it out. They're trying to be on it, reclaim the Fangoria name, and I was hoping to see it, and lo and behold, it did show up. So, good on Fangoria. Yeah, you've won me back. I mean, I got my issues. So, Volume 2, Issue number 1. Volume 2, Issue 1. And something else I got in the mail. My novelization. Yes. Fits nice on my shelf right next to my other Halloween novelizations of 1 through 4.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a good mail week. So
That is a good mail week. That is a good mail week.
Yep.
Fun. One other thing I'll talk about that I watched this week, I just wanted to let you guys in on this one. This is something I'm going to recommend you watch, because we talked in detail about a movie that felt very similar to it. You remember when we talked about the movie The Ritual on Netflix? All right.
Yep.
I watched this morning a movie called The Apostle. It's on Netflix. It's available for everybody to watch. It has a very similar vibe to The Ritual. It's a pretty dark, disturbing movie. Has to do with, like, way back when, like early, I don't want to say settlers ages, but, like a while ago. And having to do with, it looked like basically an island off of, like, Finland, where basically this cult is taken up, and they basically praise this, almost like this Mother Earth type of goddess that gives them their crops, and grants them, good harvests and stuff. And it all has to do with this guy whose sister's been kidnapped by the cult, and they're expecting a ransom, and he goes as one of their flock to try to find her and rescue her from them. And it's actually written and directed by Gareth Evans.
Gareth Evans.
Gareth Evans, yep. the guy who made, like, The Raid and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty dark, and I had it on my list of things to watch. I'd shared it out a while ago, but it came as a high recommendation from 2 separate people in the last 2 days, saying, man, I think you'd like this movie. Really much so, if you liked The Ritual, this is the kind of movie that you're going to want to watch. It did turn out really good, in my opinion. So I recommend you take a peek at that one. Take a peek. Hi.
Cool.
Hi, Tim. What do you got to say?
Okay, so I don't know how I kept missing this trailer. But I kept missing this trailer. And my friend Marilyn kept saying, dude, did you see the trailer for this yet? It looks awesome. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Marilyn, right? She kept telling me about this, and then someone else told me about it. Someone else. Overlord.
Oh, yeah.
I
Dude,
heard...
I want to see that.
Yes. It blew my little mind, this trailer. And then I'm like, oh my god, it's Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son. And the vibe is kind of like The Thing, a little bit. Like, where, blow torches underground, and I really want to see it. So, yeah, I watched the trailers, and I got really excited.
Wolfenstein the movie.
Pretty much. But the best part is, and this just is testament to my amazing fucking father skills. My kid says to me, his birthday's the end of the month, and we normally go see a movie or whatever. He's like, we should go see Overlord. We'll see whatever you want, son. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah!
I support that.
Yeah, no, the trailers look very good. Kind of reminded me of like a mix between, like you said, like The Thing meets like Frankenstein's Army meets like Dead Snow.
Yeah, Frankenstein. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's. I couldn't remember the name of that movie was awesome.
It was fun.
It was good.
Yeah, this movie just kind of came out of nowhere. Like I did not hear anything about this at all.
And you seen whose name's attached to it? Who directed it?
Yeah.
Right?
No,
Abrams.
he produced it. J.J.
Okay,
Abrams.
so who directed it?
Yeah.
Julius Avery is the name that's showing on IMDb.
But this is the movie that last year or a couple of years ago was making the rounds as being a new Cloverfield movie.
That's right. It was a World War.
But it was
II
incorrect. I mean, obviously it wasn't. But yeah, because after you remember that last Cloverfield movie that went like direct to Netflix. Netflix bought it and put it on.
Boo!
Yeah. But at that time, this was the one that they were talking about. That there was another potential Cloverfield movie that had been shot, and they were just in post production with it. But that was it. It was Overlord because J.J. Abrams was attached to it.
Yeah, but thankfully it's not.
Thankfully, it's not.
It's its own thing. But yeah, you're right. I remember them talking about that, saying that they had this World War II movie filmed, and I'm like, really?
Cloverfield, World War II doesn't make any sense.
No. What was the second? Because there was Cloverfield, and then there was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was awesome.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then this other fucking the Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, some.
I didn't mind it. It wasn't great though. You could tell that it was another.
They were going to release that in the theater.
Yeah.
Expected people to pay for it.
But it was this whole other movie that got rebranded as a Cloverfield movie. Like it was an afterthought to make it a Cloverfield movie.
Well, it reminds me of like all that shit that they do with the Hellraiser movies.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's like they read a script that has nothing to do with that franchise, and they're like, "Hey, we need another Hellraiser
Stick the priest
movie."
in.
Stick the priest in. Fucking put the rename the title, right?
Exactly. Everything after 4 for Hellraiser is. Yeah.
Did you
I
see
like
the
both
latest one?
I actually kind of like
I
the latest
did.
one.
Me too,
I
actually.
didn't.
Well, Josh, I guess you and I are kind of on the same page there.
I'm not giving it a chance because Doug Bradley's not.
Okay. I love Doug Bradley.
So hold on
this
now.
This guy really did.
You
look the
got
part.
beef with me not liking Tim Curry in the new It, but you can't watch a Hellraiser without Doug Bradley. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Pretty much. That's Tim.
Because
Wake up, man.
you wanna know-
Here we
no,
go.
let me argue that. Let me argue that point. Let me argue that point. When you have Tim Curry as Pennywise, that in my opinion was a great version, but not a faithful rendition of that character that I love from the book. Having Bill Skarsgård come in and do a little bit more of a faithful job than Tim Curry did, and I'm not taking Tim Curry away, okay? But when it comes to Doug Bradley in Pinhead, there's only one fucking version of it.
Yeah.
There's
He was
only
Pinhead.
he
It
was
Now
Pinhead,
there's 3.
right?
Yeah.
That is the same reason why I don't like the new Nightmare movie, because I'm sorry, but there's one Freddy Krueger,
Yep.
right?
True.
Okay? Can you get behind me a little bit, Josh? A little bit? No? I don't.
There's 3 different Pinhead actors now, though.
Yeah, one of the Doug Bradley, that
Yep.
Walmart brand one,
Yep.
and then this new guy. And yes, I'll admit that the new guy looks a lot like him.
He looks the
He
part.
did good.
He
He did
acted
well.
and he looked the part.
It's not Doug Bradley.
He's not Doug Bradley.
He definitely did better than the last guy that
Yeah.
tried to be Pinhead,
Yeah.
for sure. But
No
still,
one's arguing that. No.
and I think the only reason for that is because Gary, what's his last name, Tunnicliffe,
Yeah.
who was part of the original Hellraiser series with Clive Barker, directed this one. So at least he tried to keep it as faithful as possible. But I don't know, man. I just think it tried too hard.
There'll be another Hellraiser, and fucking Dan Bradley will come back because
a year or two you'll see another one. They gotta maintain those rights to the character.
Somebody's gonna find a script in the sewer down in Los Angeles somewhere and go, hey, this could use the Hell Priest in it. And, hey.
No, but the thing is right now, I mean, we discussed this also on a previous episode, is, okay, so, like, there's this resurgence in, like, horror in the mainstream now, and, you know, you got Robert Englund talking about fucking coming back to play Freddy, something he said that he would never do again, right? Who's to say, because Doug Bradley said the same thing.
Yeah.
I did my part. I'm done. I'm happy with what I did. On to the next thing. I guarantee he'll do it one more time.
Oh, yeah. It all comes down to Harrison Ford saying he'd never do Han Solo again.
Yeah.
And they paid him enough, and that broke the seal. Now they all realize that money talks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, fuck. Guns N' Roses got back together. The Misfits got back together. All these bands, all these people saying that they never do other movies. No, it's all good.
It's all talk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even more recently with Jamie Lee Curtis, she didn't want to do another Halloween movie. She's done them. They're done.
Yep.
There she is.
With another one potentially on the way.
Yep.
That's right. Okay.
So do you guys getting the vibe that we're wrapping? We're coming down. Just it's Adam's mannerisms, and he's like, "Yep, all right."
That's nice, guys. That's great. That's great.
Shut up. We're moving on. Tim, I can agree with you in terms of the fact of how you feel, and I understand.
Like you're validating my feelings. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
He still won't give it to you. It's like,
dude,
with you.
Yeah.
You argued. You put up a good fight. You brought up some good points.
I believe that what you believe.
Hey,
I believe
it's the whole but thing, right? It's like, I agree with you, but
Yeah.
I did like the last one, and I thought it was good. So
yeah, but you like shit movies anyway.
yeah,
well,
right.
It was good. It was comparatively, it was good.
You see how he's not talking now?
Yeah.
That hurt, didn't it?
No, not at all.
Your shit movie, yeah, that hurt.
We're all allowed our opinions, Tim. So
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll take that as a win for me.
Win for Tim. Yeah, Tim wins. Give it to him.
No.
All right. Last couple things that we'll talk about. Some trailers that got released, though. The trailers. Leprechaun Returns. Tim, what? As I was talking...
Like, let's talk about trailers that were released, and I just yell out, Overlord. But we just talked about it.
You just did that.
Right.
Because I'm explaining it, kind of ruined it. So
It's funny because we just talked about that trailer. That's what we did.
Oh my god.
So really,
Oh my
Adam should have
God.
said, let's talk about some more trailers that have been released.
Like Leprechaun. Anyone hear that got released?
You know what? I saw the poster, but I didn't know that the trailer got released for it.
Yeah, neither did I. I didn't know that there was a trailer for it either.
Got released.
Yeah.
Got released only.
Is
like
it?
yesterday.
It's Warwick Davis
No.
playing Leprechaun?
It's not.
What the fuck? Fuck it. No, not the original. Not the original. I'm not watching it, guys.
Okay,
No,
we just went fucking back
But
to this
apparently they're
conversation.
pulling a Halloween, and it's a sequel to the original Leprechaun.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard that.
Everything else is retconned, and it's straight after the first one is what I've read.
Yep.
Yeah. It takes place. It has like the original well or something like this from the first movie, but it has to do something to do with like a sorority house. That was it.
Of course it does.
Sex and violence.
This is the description that they gave for the movie. The deadly, wisecracking leprechaun is back in all his gory glory. When the sorority sisters of Alpha Upsilon House decide to go green and use an old well as their water source, they unwittingly awaken a pint-sized green-clad monster. The leprechaun wants a pot of gold buried near the sorority house, but first he must recover his powers with a killing spree. And only if the girls of AU can stop him. Okay.
So who's playing Leprechaun?
Some other guy.
I don't know. Somebody can look that up real quick, I guess.
Fine.
I just looked it up and saw that it wasn't Warwick Davis and closed the tab. And it doesn't.
But you know what? After watching the trailer, it's going to be interesting.
Really?
What?
And you're giving me all that shit with Pinhead, Josh?
Okay.
Get your priorities straight.
One thing we can definitely say, it's not that stupid fucking Leprechaun Origins that was released a couple years ago. That
Yeah,
was a terrible
watch it.
bullshit.
That was
It
trash.
was trash.
Really?
Well, because
Yeah.
the whole thing behind the Leprechaun character that everybody likes is that he's a wisecracking, leprechaun. This Leprechaun Origins, it was a monster movie with like this leprechaun that's like stalking people in like the little wooded area around the house, and he's just a monster. But this is like it's actually like the wisecracking leprechaun, just as Warwick Davis had done.
Wasn't the last one, the Leprechaun Origins, also
It's
a WWE production?
It was. It had like one of the wrestlers was like the leprechaun.
It comes out next month.
yeah, December
What the fuck?
11th or something.
He doesn't look bad.
No, it looks good. And
He looks the same, so maybe.
so
Why not get work?
Yeah, I know.
he's been really busy over in the UK. He's like this big star in the UK now. He does like all these like
Yeah.
talk shows and hosts like.
He's
game
been a
shows
big
and shit.
deal.
Have
for
you
a
ever
while.
seen
No,
the
but,
show
like,
he did
bigger
with
now.
Carl
He's
Pilkington?
busy now. What?
Have you ever seen the show he did with Carl Pilkington, where he like travels the world?
No.
That's one of the most funniest fucking things in the world. You need
What?
to go watch this today.
That is
My
It's
favorite
called An
was-
Idiot Abroad.
an idiot. Of
They take this guy who Ricky Gervais knows, Carl Pilkington, and he's just a miserable motherfucker who wants no part of nothing, and they just send him around the world to like India and Indonesia and Egypt and all around the world, and he just is miserable the whole time. And they did a season with Warwick Davis where he like went and traveled the world with them.
That's fun.
My favorite was also a Ricky Gervais produced was Life's Too Short. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yes.
Holy fuck,
No.
I laughed. That one episode with fucking what's his name? Qui-Gon.
Oh, Liam
Oh,
Neeson.
Liam
The one
Neeson.
where he wants to
Liam
be an
Neeson?
actor, like a serious
Yeah,
actor or something like
Yeah. So I walk into a greengrocer. Fuck, I loved it. I have AIDS.
Oh, yeah, he wants
So
to be a
good.
comedian or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Good buddy, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I like lists. And fucking Steven Spielberg liked that about me, so they cast me as Schindler because I like lists. Fuck, it was so good. Loved it. I loved
Yeah,
it.
they're trying to do like some on the spot acting with him, trying to get some
Yeah, improv. Yeah,
and,
some
and
improv.
everything's about a doctor telling his patient he has AIDS or cancer or something. It's like,
And then he's like, I have AIDS. What?
yeah,
Got it from a prostitute. Yeah.
it's
Totally. This went somewhere else than I was expecting.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Josh, why are they not? Well, it's not even. I'm just adding to the question. Why aren't they getting Warwick Davis?
Yeah, what's he doing that's so important?
Probably more Star Wars movies.
making
probably.
a lot of money doing what he's currently doing. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
So probably not something he really wanted to do. So.
No.
Oh my guys! All right, final time for any other topics you guys want to bring up. It's been an interesting week.
No. No.
Open
No.
discussion. Anything else? No. Okay.
No.
Well, if that's the case, gentlemen, then we're going to wrap things up today. So, thank you everybody for tuning in and listening to this episode 53 of the Cast from the Coast. We've got a couple of really good episodes coming up that we're getting ready to record. So, make sure to tune in and keep listening. So, until next time, Tim,
Stay spooky, everybody.
Josh.
See you later.
Have a good night, everyone.
Until next time, everybody, take it easy. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this episode. Please remember that you can like and subscribe to our page on Facebook, and our episodes can be found over on YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play. Please also don't forget to check us out on Patreon. Open up your hearts and your wallets, people. And until next time,
Stay spooky, everybody.
see you later, everybody.